Hello all and welcome back to High Ridge Farm with me, the Walrus. It is the winter, my favourite time of year, and Hayley, my glorious wife, has been refilling the water bowls and fixing the fences. Ignoring the fact that we have a giant clock that somehow prevents that, I'm not entirely sure of the mechanics behind it, but then again, this is a magical world. We have wizardy weird nonsense. I'm not entirely sure what the power of magic is, really, within Stardew Valley. I don't really want to try to find out, as dumb as that might sound, because experiencing the, well, I wouldn't say mishaps, but experiencing the awful nature of magic, I've read enough Discworld to know how weird things go. Because have you ever tried transmuting somebody into a frog? Well, if you do, they get turned into a frog, but where does the rest of their body mass go? It becomes an orb of flesh. Grim. So, yeah. Horrific. Which then also begs the question of, like, obviously, if that sort of principle was applied to other magic in other universes, so for example within Dungeons and Dragons, I'm going to turn myself into a dragon. Well, the dragon weighs more than I do. How does that work? Now, one of the things that I'm now doing is I've decided to make a prismatic raiment. So a selection of prismatic clothes entirely for me to wear to be all shiny. I mean, I've got my prismatic turban. It looks really cool. I like it a lot. But now, using prismatic shards and a bit of RNG, I'm going to make one of the prismatic items. Now, I've got the genie pants so far. Okay, I've got some regular ones. And there are two different designs of shirts by the looks of things, so that's kind of good. I mean, I've got no idea what the limits are when it comes to the prismatic clothing, because I've never done this before. But for now, I've made myself some prismatic pants, and which looks better, the genie pants or the regular ones? Now, I was curious to see how the prismatic clothing items would cycle. Would they cycle independently, or do they run on a sort of a set circuit? So it looks like they run on a set circuit, which is all well and good, and it means that I keep a consistent colour. However, I like this, well, suit jacket with, it's almost like a pendant really, rather than an actual like a t-shirt under it. It's not like an open shirt, it's like an open blazer sort of system thing we got going on here. It's more of a I'm wearing a sparkly amulet. But I thought a little bit of, like, well, I'd say colour, a little bit of lack of colour might actually be better. Now, I've not tried using the prismatic shard with already existing clothes, because I don't know if that's a thing. I'm pretty sure you can dye clothing by using it with the thing that you wish to dye it with. So I wonder if that works. Okay, so I still need to catch a few perch. So let's find out from the TV when perch are catching. Thank you for tuning into Fibs. I don't often use this, but it is a really useful thing. Perch, 6 AM to 2 AM, so all day, every day. Excellent. So it looks like we are going fishing. And I think the mountain lake is probably the best place to go for them, because, I mean, that's where I caught them last time. And I'm going to be a creature of habit. If I know they're there, I'm going to go back there. You know, that seems to work. And, of course, conveniently, we've got some bubbles, which means that some stuff is biting. So let's see what we catch. Now, of course, I'm still using the combination of the cork bobber and sharp hook to make my catching a little bit easier, but I'm half tempted to see about putting 2 cork bobbers on, because that'll massively increase the size of my fishing bar. I say massively, but it'll increase the size of it. And I think a combination of that plus maybe the challenge bait, that might make things not as terribly difficult. I do also want to maybe pick up another fishing rod and test the other enchantments. Like, I like the auto catch thing because I'm lazy and it means I can just go, oh look, I've got it. Well, not catch, sorry. It means I can automatically start reeling the damn thing in. Get on the line, you little swine. Get on it and stay on it. Goodness gracious. Okay, so we've got a sturgeon. Not super too worried about that. It's only a sturgeon. And, oh, key beans. Now, I know I'm going to need more of those, because I've got the entire season to achieve it. But, and also considering there's not really much else for me to grow during this time of year, It's not the end of the world. It's not like it's a difficult thing for me to try to do. And it feels reasonably sensible as a challenge to oneself, maybe? I mean, that's what it feels like. It seems like a reasonable a challenge from Mr. Key to do during the winter. But it does mean that the key bean is a particularly resilient crop. I mean, I'm very curious to see how resilient it actually is. Ah, another perch, excellent. Okay, so we still need 2 more of the splines. Come on then. Get on the line. Get on. No, that's probably like a smallmouth bass, isn't it? Let's see what it is. Might be a chub. Oh, it was a sturgeon. Okay. That was far easier than I was expecting for a sturgeon. How odd. I mean, it's not really the end of the world, but, you know, odd all the same. Okay, and we've got ourselves a chub. Okay, so the fishing tackles have worn out. I need to make some more of those. That's not super difficult to do, though. I mean, now that I've got just the piles of resources, it's not ever too much of a hassle. The only thing that I've struggled with, really, in the grand scheme of things, is moss. And I need to figure out a good way of getting more moss. I know I used a lot of it to make the special statuette. It's not really a statuette, is it? It is actually a statue. Now, if memory serves, the distinction between a statue and a statuette, I think a statuette is a small... I mean, it sounds really stupid. It's small, as in it's typically one that is smaller than life size. Whereas a statue tends to be life size or maybe slightly smaller, or generally quite a bit larger. So, for example, David, Michelangelo's David, is definitely a statue because it's enormous. And genuinely, if you get the chance to go and see it and actually see the size of the damn thing, it's like, oh my. It's enormous. But yes, so a statuette is something that is smaller than life size. Now, it has been a very long time since I've done any form of study into art. I took art as far as year 9 in the United Kingdom. So when I was 14, I stopped studying art because at the age of 14, you get choices based on what would you like to do at GCSE. And I chose not to do art, mostly because I can't draw at all. Genuinely, absolutely atrocious. I even got in trouble during biology classes at A level, which is the 16 to 18 qualification that we do in the UK, because my inability to draw what I was dissecting. So I was dissecting an animal heart, and I just couldn't draw it. And I don't think my lecturer, she was just like, why can't you do it? I'm like, I literally can't. It's not like I'm deliberately, obtusely oh, pike, okay. I could have sworn I gave her a pike. I gave her a sturgeon because they look vaguely similar. I hadn't caught a pike. Damn. Right, well, looks like I'm going to go catch her. Okay, so Abigail, I mean, yeah, okay. That makes sense. I think I might want to do a little video just on what is everyone's reaction to being given the iridium tea. Because Hayley thought about using it as shampoo. Abigail seems to like it because it's a bit like an amethyst. Yeah, let's find out at some point. We'll do that. I think that'd be quite fun. But yes. My point was, it's not like I'm obtusely deciding to be terrible at drawing, but I just am. My drawing skills are still terrible many years later. The thing is, I paint. And hilariously, I actually paint quite a lot while I'm recording the audio to the videos, because I need to pay attention to what's going on. But I paint Warhammer miniatures quite often. I mean, shockingly enough, I used to work for them, Games Workshop, for quite a long time, so one would imagine that I would tend to do that. But I also paint a lot of D&D figures and that sort of thing, because I'll paint models for people who I know are participating in D&D and who want to have a model. And if friends are participating in a campaign that I'm running, And if they haven't ever done a mini, I'll make them one. And I'll change the way it looks, I'll cut it up and all sorts of wonderful things and add the equipment they want it to use on it, and, you know, something silly. Or occasionally if they bring a Hero Forge model, because they're quite good for the fact that, you know, it's essentially 3D printed, but it is a lot more customizable, so it's quite nice. But yeah, I can freehand. Okay, about. Ooh, doing good, that's good. So it must be nearly at a point where he wants more stuff, though, because I haven't got the achievement for maximising their family yet. But unfortunately, my ability to do art is atrocious. Now, I'm going to try and stop rambling about art now, because that was my weird hyper-focus there for a moment. Okay, so pike. So I can catch them in the river. So it looks like we're going back down to the river itself. That's fine. That's not super concerning. I mean, that's an easy place to go to, really, isn't it? It's only down here. So we'll go down to the river and we will cast our line out and see what we can catch. I also want to grab a couple of crocuses as well, because I think they were one of the things that I was missing when I was trying to make the winter berry... Not winter berries, sorry. Winter seeds. Okay, so let's see what we get. So the 2 cork boppers plan seems to be reasonably sensible. Okay, so that's a tiger trout. Again, perfectly reasonable fish, just not the one I'm looking for. You know, I don't think I've ever, not really domesticated, but I haven't farmed pike before. They're quite big, aggressive fish. From my understanding. Again, I don't fish. It's not as uncommon in the grand scheme of things, but it's just something I've never done. I know I've mentioned it previously. I'd love to have a go and see what it's like. I've just never had the opportunity, other than like small fish, like in a pond sort of thing with a net. Oh, another tiger trout. Fair enough. At least we've got some roe, maybe. And that's the thing is, all the roes and such that I'm going to catch are going to go into the mixed shed from now on. Because the mixed shed is going to be more fluctuating when it comes to the harvests. So I'm not as concerned about that really per se. So that's going to be my kind of focus on that one. The mixed shed is the, I don't know, some stuff is going to take longer than others. There's a pike. I mean, they look vaguely similar to a sturgeon, like just at a glance, but I obviously just threw the wrong fish at her. Well, I'll live. I mean, it's only Penny. That sounds so mean. Especially since I was actually around a friend's house and we were discussing how she's got an intense love for Penny. And it's not that I dislike massively Penny. She's just not my bachelorette of choice, I think is probably the best way of describing her. She's perfectly fine, but I think what I need to do is I need to try marrying some of the bachelors and bachelorettes that I've not really thought about. Oh, excellent, there we go. Because she does do some very cute things. I mean, she is like adorable school teacher type thing, and she's doing her best. But I do like the redeeming things of like Hayley with the fact that she's done the book drive from the cakewalk. And I hope that those sorts of things happen in tandem. So, it'd be nice to see. But my friend was definitely encouraging me to try and give Elliot another chance. Because I was mentioning to her, because I went round and she was playing Stardew on her PlayStation. And I said about how much I hated Elliot. Thankfully, she knows. She knows all too well why I dislike him. But she's very much encouraging me, so I think that's going to be a thing. I'm going to give it a go. I'm going to give Elliot another try. Next time I play through start a fresh one, I'm just going to give him an attempt, because apparently his heart events are quite cute. And the thing is, I still find him insufferable. I think it's just my personal opinion of people who behave similarly to his mannerisms. I think that's probably the nicest way of putting it. I just dislike him for that. It's mean, possibly, but meh, whatever. Right. So whilst we're here on Ginger Island, I'm going to quickly go and harvest all of these lovely pineapples. Lovely jubbly. I mean, that's quite a nice selection of them anyway. And then we have the trees. More pineapple. I mean, always more pineapple. Now, one of the things I have enjoyed is we've recently had a rum festival down at the bar I work at. So, shockingly enough, we've had lots of rums and lots of pineapple because we've done lots of like pina coladas and silly things like that, and rum punches that have like a wedge of pineapple in them, and lots of pineapple juice. Unfortunately, one of the staff there is horribly allergic to pineapple, but he really likes it. So it's very much he can have maybe half a glass of pineapple juice before he starts feeling really rough, and it's like, we love you, but you are an idiot. Which I know is rich coming from me. But at the same time, he really likes the flavour of pineapple, and I feel real bad for him for the fact that he's like, no, I'm going to do it. I'm going to have pineapple. But then again, I'm kind of like that. I'm slightly lactose intolerant, in that I can't eat cheese without causing me distress. It's probably the nicest way of putting it. And I still eat pizza. I'm pretty good about otherwise, though. I avoid other cheeses. And that's the odd thing is, I don't know if it's just purely it's lactose intolerance, or more specifically to cheeses. Because I eat ice cream, I drink milk, I have yogurts, perfectly fine. But can I touch cheese? Not without pain. Oh well. That's how it goes. But anyway, silliness aside, we are still slogging our way through. And we've got plenty more stuff here that I want to try and grab. So, is there anything else? Well, I'm getting more of the seeds, which is great, and apparently I can't aim there. But I need to quickly sort out. Let's see. Mahogany seeds. Do I need them? Well, I'm going to mine everything. I'm going to come back because, shocking enough, I want those artifact treasures. Ooh, diamonds. I mean, having that ability of potentially obtaining a diamond out of anything I mine, well, any rock I mine, I assume, because it'd be very weird if I whacked a bit of grass and got a diamond out of it. But then, who knows, Stardew Valley. There we go, so let's slap that there. And I'm just going to come back because, again, we've got lots of bones. I think I need another fertilizer maker and another hopper, because I'd really like to remove that bush as well. Because I've got lots of bone. Look at that stack of bone. And I'd rather have more fertilizer producing, because that would probably be more sensible for me. I mean, at least it would be... I don't want to quite say something useful, but it would give me something out of it. There we go, another 15 of the refined quartz. Now, again, I use that mostly for the flooring because I prefer the crystal pathways and crystal floor, like the refined one, the square one, which is throughout most of my walkways. But I do like this wooden aged flooring in my sheds. I like that. So let's see what we can do here. So yeah, this is the crystal walkway that I quite like. It's just pretty. But then again, I do really like the unrefined one, where it's more... I mean, it's still refined quartz, I think. But it's less organised and square. It's more slapdash and mad. Perfectly fine, but I have my preference. I think it's probably the best way of describing it. Okay, so we've got lots of stuff going on there. That's fine and dandy and all. Okay, well, let's rinse this off. That's fine. What next? Well, let's head back over to the dig site, because we need to go and collect the stuff that we harvested out. That's not where I went. I could have sworn I tapped dig site. I probably tapped volcano like a moron. Like that wouldn't be the first time of me to do something incredibly stupid. It's coming up quite late. I should probably get ready for bed. That would be a good idea, wouldn't it? Right, well, let's just quickly grab this ginger as well, because ginger. Grab that. Let's just check in the cave with the creepy dude. He looks... like his portrait is horrific. I really don't like it. It's like, ugh. You are repulsive. In every way. And I feel bad for saying that, but my god, man, you are hideous. Oh, well, I actually got a plant, so that's cool. I've not seen that potted plant before. I didn't know that was even a thing that one could obtain from the floor. From one's exploits of rampaging through and doing stuff. Kind of cool. Did not know. Very sweet, though. I am never going to be too upset about getting free cool crops. Not really a crop, is it? It's more decoration, but, you know, I like free stuff. Never going to be upset about free things, am I? Not quite that mad. To be like, free things? Who wants that? Right, so we planted some more key beans. Yeah, okay, it's 1 AM. I really need to go to bed. I got a lot of artifact troves. And I've got 4 golden crackers. I really need to give them to the animals. I'll have a look and see who needs that more. I think that's going to be the best plan of action, isn't it? Let's put the plant here. That'd be nice. Lovely. I do like the fact that... I wonder if there's I wonder if I could make a prismatic radioactive goggles. That'd be kind of cool. Yeah, I like the fact that your partner now responds to you. In like the way that you are doing things. It's quite nice that they actually do that. I like that. Like, you know, when you're wandering around and saying things, doing things, stuff and things, colouring in. Anyway, let's grab this gubbins. Okay, so nothing there. That's fine. Smells like breakfast. Thank you. A good omelette. I need more fish tanks. So I need more glasses. I think, you know what? I'm going to empty the fish ponds today. Because that's been something that I've been thinking about doing, is reorganising the layout of the farm. And you know what? I think it wouldn't be a bad idea to do that. And again, it's not a particularly difficult plan either. I mean, heck, it's just as dumb as it's going to sound, it's just grabbing stuff out of the ponds. And like, I don't need the sturgeon. As blunt as it is, I don't need them. And if I get rid of the sturgeon, I could move... I mean, yes, I could in theory have another fish, but I'm half tempted just to get rid of that pond entirely as well, because I just don't need it. Which I know is potentially silly, but I just don't. Oh, look at that, I still need moss. 30 for each deluxe worm bin. Ugh. So I need another 150 to do the 5 worm bins that I want to do. Great. Just what I needed. That's very annoying. Now, excuse any strange noises. I've got my paint shaker going on in the background, and I'd forgotten that it makes a weird rumbling slosh noise. Like, for example, listen to this. This is me shaking a pot of paint into the microphone. Doesn't sound, kosher, does it? Yeah. I'm gonna stop painting while I'm recording for now. Unfortunately, this paint is really badly mixed, so that's the thing. You know, I think I might actually post some of the pictures of some of the stuff that I'm painting into this video, because it'd be kind of nice just to show off. Like, I'm awful at taking photos of models as well. I'm going to warn you here. My photography skills are lackluster at best. I've got a reasonable phone, but I can't take photos for love nor money. It's something that really rankles me, because like, I can't take photos of myself very well. I can't take photos of things I'm looking at very well. Because of that, I don't have a particular collection of images of virtually anything, actually, if I'm really honest about it. And it's kind of depressing, really. I've got a few pictures of my guineas. They're about the only thing I can take a decent photo of. And even then, they're not very good photos. They're pretty pants. So, yeah. Oh, well. It's just how it goes, isn't it? Righty, so we've got lots of slimes in here. Let's clear some of these out. We don't need this many slimes going on. God. Ugh, slimes. There's so many of them. Not the end of the world. And not exactly difficult to kill off, are they? I mean, just whack him a couple of times with hammers, and then job done. Job done indeed. Okay, so let's see what else we need to do here. That seems to have done okay. Right, now, so I've cleared out some of the slimes. So I'm going to clear out this fish pond of the midnight squid. I'm going to put them somewhere. I don't know if I'm going to use them, but I'll put them somewhere for now. But the question really then comes, what do I want to do with them, if anything? Because they're not really the most exciting of fish. I can't cook with them because they're not considered squid, which really annoys me, because they're way easier to catch than the regular squid. And I very much want to have more regular squids. Oh man, I've not thought about this as well. So, because of course they're caught from the special submarine, which goes down under the sea. Now, of course, the guy who's running the sub, there is a possibility you will pass out in his submarine because you left it too long and you weren't paying attention. But at the same time, imagine being him, going to the bottom of the sea. Well, I mean, not quite to the bottom of the sea. But you go down to under the sea. Trust me, it's better down where it's wetter, under the sea. And the guy or gal you've got in your submarine suddenly just goes whoop and uses their return scepter, just teleports back to their farm through means unknown to you. And you're like, what? Just be, it would be good if there was like certain NPC dialogue that was based around the fact that, like, what on earth are you doing, you mentalist? In the same way that, like, when you play Skyrim and you shout in a town and the guards come and tell you off for shouting, even if it's a non-offensive shout. Because I used to use the Whirlwind Sprint or something, Whirlwind Dash, whatever it's called, the one that allows you to just leap silly distances in a single go. Because I used to use that because I play entirely melee oriented build. So to fight dragons, I would have to launch off of cliffs doing that to try and do damage to them, so I'd make them land. I'm gonna give this one a quick shout out. It's not a good idea. Don't do it. It's real dumb. Skyrim really lends itself to actually having a bow, which I think is dull. So yeah. But yeah, they come over and they tell you off. They're like, guys, dude, what are you doing? You're shouting in town. It's just scaring the villagers. And I kind of wonder if there'd be anything like that in Stardew. Just like what do you do? Linus, you look like a hedge. Like, literally just put your face in a hedgerow. Goodness gracious. And the weird and wonderful of this game. I love it, but goddamn, it's strange. You're not wrong, Abigail. It does really go by very quickly. Now, we're into our construct and demolishing buildings. So let's demolish the that fish pond, because we don't need it anymore. Oh, okay, so it would be good if I could just chain demolish stuff. I didn't want to paint, I want to move and demolish it. I mean, I really do need to get a new controller for this. I think what I do really need to do is actually disassemble the controller I'm currently using. I know I've mentioned it previously, but this is an original Xbox 360 controller, a cabled controller, which is goodness, 18 years old-ish at this point. I'm amazed it's done this well. But I really need a new one. I really do, because you can tell that the sensitivity's slightly off, and like the resetting of the springs and yada yada yada. I think it would be really sensible for me to do. Right, I'm going to move this now that the slime hutch is so much smaller. I mean, look at this. I can whack it over here. Perfect. Fantabby doozy. Right, well, let's move this as well, because I don't really need both of these over here. Can I put two of them? Ooh, let's give this a go. Slap that there. Can I move it down? Oh, no, there's not really enough. Now, I know people have said about the fact that there's not really much point in having multiple silos. I just like the look of the silo. It feels very farmy to have a silo. Unfortunately, it's not like a full grain silo, which, you know, they can cause so many fatalities. Like, they're genuinely dangerous. The amount of fatalities that happen because of grain silos is scary. So let's put this other one over here as well. Yeah, slap it here. I've still got room to walk on part of the bridge. It's fine. Okay. Now the windmill. Where am I going to move you? You're 4x2. Ooh. I think it's got to go one over, doesn't it? There, perfect. There we go. So I've got a windmill near my... It's a shame... Oh, actually, can you paint the windmill? That'd be nice. But look at that. We've got opened up loads more space to farm. So I'm going to move this Junimo hut here. And we can plant some more crops come the spring. Or if we get more key beans. And I think I'm going to move you to here. And I'll move you to here. There we go. Isn't that pretty? Yeah. That's way, way better. Goodness gracious. Now, I know it's a minor level of things that I've done there, but that does feel a lot better. And you know what? I'm going to move the clock. Because it's nice and all, but it doesn't need to be there. I think there's fine. Because I moved the water bowls, so. And the thing is, since I have the return scepter, I don't really use this top part of the farm. I could actually, in theory... Oh, I can't block that. That's so annoying. I could, in theory, block off that statue. Because I don't need it. Not even slightly. No, I'm going to keep a little pathway. I think that's probably a good idea, just behind the house. But I think I should probably move one of those pillars next to the golden clock and maybe just essentially just block access to that little shrine of teleporting, because I don't use the those return what are they called, totems to return me to the farm, because I don't need them. I just don't. I've got the scepter. That's what it's for. It does exactly what it says on the tin. Returns you to the house. Oh, you can't paint the windmill. That's depressing. You can't paint the slime hutch either. That's very annoying. Oh well. I don't really need any of the other buildings, do I? I should probably demolish the well if I still have one. I'm not sure if I still do. I should probably check. And actually, I need to check and see how big those houses actually are. Because if they have a decent amount of space in them, I could just use them as a... Like, if they're small enough and they have a decent amount of space, I could just use them as another storage or something house? I don't know. Now, one of the things that I don't know, though, it's kind of not really annoys me, is I don't know about, like, cross-platform capabilities at Stardew. I also know that obviously the versions are very different amongst different things. So obviously with like, I can't play with my friends who are running it on, I can't play with my friend I mentioned earlier. So she's playing on her PlayStation 4. So she cannot play with me. And I assume that's the case in the fact that if I was to play it on my Xbox, I couldn't play with her because there's probably no cross-platform. But we've been looking at the other things like, for example, PlateUp, and the fact that that's got great cross-platform capability because it comes with like code to play. But there are also other games that don't have that capability. So, for example, I've played a fair bit of Palworld recently, and I was really disappointed by the fact that Palworld doesn't have that So I've got the Steam copy, and I've got it on Game Pass because I've got a Xbox, and I can't play it on. I have to have the 2 versions. I mean, I paid for the Steam one. Obviously, I haven't paid for the Game Pass one because no, that's not a thing. I'm not paying for it. That sounds very silly, doesn't it? But that is, that's how Game Pass works. You don't pay for it. But that's the thing. Is like I'm a bit stuck because I can't really do anything about it, can I? And it does suck. And to be blunt, I can't play it across those 2. And it was the same when Warhammer Total War 3 came out as well, because being able to play that, I couldn't play that across Steam and across with Xbox Game Pass. But that also then had another trade-off with that I couldn't use all my expansions, which really hurt. Because I was like, oh. Because, unsurprisingly enough, I really enjoy those sorts of games. I'm very bad at them, I will admit. Like, I'm not going to try and compete on a proper level with some people. I've seen some people who just do some incredible wizardy things, and I'm like, oh my god, I do not have the patience for that. I'm like, I'm not bad at them, but I'm not exactly great. Same with Civ. Like, I'm pretty good at Civ games. Definitely better than most of my friends, but I wouldn't try and play it online. Not against people properly. Jesus. Get my bum handed to me. Which is, I feel that's that little meme of person so fed up because they're too good to play their friends, but not good enough to play competitively. Boo. Which is essentially where I sit for some games. Not the first-player shooters. I'm far too scatterbrained for that. I'm not bad at first-player shooters, but I prefer first-player shooter things like Battlefield, where actually working in tandem works better for you. And I've played a fair bit of Squad as well. That's another one with my friend, and he and I are hilariously bad at it, because the thing is, obviously, with Squad being it's milsim rather than a first-player shooter, it's not like you get any you don't get a hit marker. If you shoot someone, you might know if you've killed them. You don't know. It's very much of a ooh. So I don't play them very often, but I do enjoy them when I do play them. It's frustrating though, because I'm bad. That's the problem. But oh well. Right. Let's reorganise the gubbins. Okay, so I'm going to quickly fling this slime egg in the sales bin, because I don't need it right now. I say right now, I don't think I need it at all. I'm just using slime eggs for sale value. I'm aware that the tiger slime egg is the most valuable one, and I don't think I've got any of them yet. But I do have some tiger slime. Well, I must have had one, because I've got oodles of tiger slimes now, haven't I? I should probably look into that. I feel like a Pokemon breeder being like, I have no idea how this egg got here. Like, genuinely no idea. Which, considering some of the egg groups, Warelord Skitty, he'd be like, yeah, no idea, mate. Absolutely no idea. Because that makes no sense. Which is also interesting, because they're sort of like an interesting, diverse blend across the different species and different genera. So you've got some lizards, well, some that look lizardy, some that are more mammalian, some are avian, and the fact that they're more like marsupials, really. Not marsupials, sorry, more like the echidna, because that lays eggs. What are they called? What's the monotremes? Monotremes, there we go. I can remember my science words. Just about. Anyway. So Pokemon are monotremes, which is, a thing. Still confusing, but it's a thing. Right, so let's slap down the land here. That was dumb. And we will plant some speedy grow. Let's put the lightning rod there, that'll be fine. And we will slap down some more, a mixture of seeds. We've got 10 of the winter seeds, so they are going to just be iridium quality Oh, no, they're not, are they? Because if you grow them, they're not... Or are they? I forget which way round it is, because there's another way of getting forageable gubbins. I can't remember. I think they are iridium quality. I could be wrong. I mean, again, wouldn't be the first time. Definitely would not be the first time that I've been wrong. So, let's at least have a look and see what's available. Well, still a few more things in the house. Some more oil and truffle oil, lovely stuff. I mean, the thing is, truffle oil's well and good. Still horrified by Mayor Lewis's requirement for the damn stuff, but I don't want to think about that one any further. Anyway, I mean, for a game that's very much suited, like, you look at it and on the surface, it's like, oh no, it's just a lovely farming game, and then there's like some hard-hitting things in it, like the abusive relationship Penny has with her mother. Like, two actual alcoholics, one of whom who needs help. Well, they both need help, but one of whom who gets help. But then you don't see the character change, which is a real shame. I think that's something that I would very much... I still stand by. I would love to see, after that heart event with Shane, I'd love to see him and his like of things change. I'd love to see him hate beer and become a hated gift. That would be really cool. Now, one of the things that I'm planning on over here was I was thinking about turning this into a massive apiary. So having loads and loads of hives, and then a couple of plants, like a couple of flowers, and just remember to come and harvest the flower before the end of the season. And that would be kind of cool, because that way I'd have lots of honey. Because I don't really need the minerals out of here. It's not really the thing that I need. Not anymore, at least. I mean, the quarry's very good early game. But the problem is, you don't get access to it early game. It's I'd say it's a mid-game thing. And by the time you've unlocked the quarry, you've probably just charged way through the mines. It's not really as much of a problem. Which is kind of weird to sort of think about and point out, that it's not entirely redundant, but the area is... It could be used for other things. Probably the best way of putting it. Which is why I've been using it as a forested area. But again, I don't need the wood anymore. I've got so much of the damn stuff. I've grown so many trees and cut them down. I don't need them. That's fantastic if you ask me. Like, I don't need them. I mean, if I could turn it into like a wildflower, and I mean, if I plant a bunch of grasses and stuff, and then I could have like the bees, and yeah, I could turn it into like a little, maybe not quite as effective in reality, but a nice little bee area. Because honestly, if I had a farm, I would have bees. And I would be one of those, like, really... Like, I would attempt to be a very responsible farmer. So I wouldn't use any neonicotinoid pesticides, which they are illegal in the EU, which I am no longer a part of. And they kill bees. Bees are very vulnerable to them. And I would have lots of bees. So many bees. I'd like to have a bee van as well. Like, having all of the hives almost like in the side of a van type, like a big lorry, so I could take the bees somewhere. Like, so if someone was like, oh yeah, I need could you bring your bees to my farm? I need them for like a week and a half to do all the pollinating, and then just open up the side of this enormous lorry and then just release the bees, sort of thing. But yes, bee-related silliness aside, thank you all for tuning in. Big shout out thanks goes to my patrons on Patreon. And if you have liked, please do like, share and subscribe. And hopefully I'll catch you again the next time the Walrus plays Stardew Valley.